I buy most of my puzzles locally, or almost all of them, but from time to time I feel like solving a puzzle that my local store, the Book Corner in Bloomington, Indiana, does not have. And so, for example, I thought that images from Miyazaki's movies, and I'm a big fan of Studio Ghibli and Miyazaki, would make for great puzzles. My local store didn't have anything like that. Turns out there aren't many that are distributed in the US by American companies. And so I went online, I went to the big river in South America, if you know what I mean, and it turns out that they do have some Japanese import, and that's how I got the puzzle that I'm going to review today, which is, I'll call it Spirited Away, because it's based on an image from that movie, but there isn't a single word in English anywhere. There is something here that probably means learn Japanese already. I'm pretty sure that's what it says. Spirited Away. From Spirited Away, the beautiful image where our protagonist is standing in front of the mysterious palace where a lot of the story will take place. It's a 1,000 piece puzzle, again, Japanese import that you can find in the US through the big river in South America, and not particularly complicated. Actually, I would say whether you are a long-time jigsaw puzzler, or even if you're a new puzzler, if you're a pandemic puzzler, there is such a thing, this is something that could be approachable. Not particularly difficult or complex, not too challenging, but also very beautiful. Let me show you the final result. So here is the puzzle. Like always, when I review puzzles that have a vertical orientation, the general view is a little more distant, simply because if I want to show the entire image, well, that doesn't really fit the frame. I mean, I guess I could do like this. I could turn the camera like so, but I don't think that would make it any more enjoyable. So you're gonna get this view here, and then we're gonna look at some of the details. It looks great. I already Mod Podged it back and front because I plan to turn it into a decoration for my game room. It will go on top of some of these game shelves. I don't know which one yet, but I think it'll look very nice. The fantasy theme will fit with, well, a lot of my games that are within that genre also. It's a beauty. The colors are very vibrant. They just stand out they just pop out of the panel. I love this beautiful sky, which is a solid color, and it contrasts with the colors of the palace here, which are more like paint brushes with a lot of nuances, a lot of detail. Look at this. Very nice. Just so much detail. I mean, this is basically a painting. And now this is interesting because the protagonist here, of course, has a lower level of, let's say, resolution of detail because, well, there's just a painting for the background and she needs to be animated. She needs to move around. That's just a technical thing that happens in cartoons, but it works particularly well, in my opinion, in this specific image because it really emphasizes the idea of the protagonist as from somewhere else, as not fully belonging here. So now she's entering the world of the spirits. It works very well that way. Even the visual contrast has kind of works as a mirroring of the conceptual contrast at the heart of the scene. But again, visually, you're gonna have a lot of fun doing this puzzle because it is divided into areas that are each very easy to distinguish, very easy to tell apart. After doing the edge, I did the base first, of course, very obvious, then the sky, then the floor here, these red thingies, the trees. That was the only part that was a little tricky, actually. I kind of like took a break from it and then came back later. And then I did all of the horizontal elements of the palace, and at that point all was left was the walls, finally the windows, and the trees. So basically, you can almost think of it as like 10, 11 mini puzzles, each of about 100 pieces each. So that's very, very manageable. I was working on a very difficult and painful puzzle, really, and taking a break from that one, I decided to do this one. And it was just a joy. So much fun to solve, precisely because it has just the right level of challenge actually probably is, again, it's probably on the easier side. The cut is clear, almost no dust in there, but something I had to say, the fit is a little bit loose. I would have liked it to be a little tighter, so from time to time when I had an air that was sold and I need to move it around, I couldn't move more than 2-3 pieces at a time because it would just fall off. Once the entire thing also was all put together, again, I wouldn't have been able to move it to a, say, piece of cardboard to glue the back with Elmer glue or whatever other glue. The only way to preserve it was, again, to use puzzle glue from the front, because once it's solved, you can't just move it around, it'll fall apart very easily, and that's probably my only complaint about this puzzle. The only negative is, again, the fit is a little loose. But the puzzle is beautiful. When it comes to the final product, as a puzzle, that is something you play with, you build, you reconstruct, again, also very fun. So overall, I would recommend this puzzle both to old school puzzlers, but also if we have new people that recently started in this hobby, this could be a good starting point. This could be your first 1,000 piece puzzle because, again, don't be intimidated. 1,000 pieces can be a lot, but this puzzle specifically should be not too hard to solve.